This is Georgia Woods, and this is our homestead. I'm sure that you could find similarities and differences in any state you were raised in. During my childhood, there was no such thing as internet, so it wasn't like I could just look out and see what life was like in another state. And it wasn't until the mid to late 90s before I could research and find out on the web what it was like and how much it cost. As a kid, I thought many times that I would like to grow up and leave the state and go somewhere else and live a wonderful life. However, I planned doing what I could only imagine. I believe God sometimes has a funny way of teaching us that we don't know what we're talking about. We don't really know or understand, but He shows us through time. During my search, I found that we were probably in one of the cheapest states you could possibly afford to live in as far as homes and other things. In my mind, going from cheap to expensive didn't make much sense. I would lose a lot to gain a little. I think time has changed all of that, and now Georgia is getting just as pricey as anywhere else. Growing up here, I was taught that you could do anything you set your mind to. Believe in yourself, and anything you want to do, you can do it. Just put your effort into it and make it happen. That is the epitome of my life. I never let anyone tell me what I can or can't do, because I've always believed in myself and believed in that very statement and the truth within. Always have confidence in yourself, because it's your confidence that builds you. Never tell yourself you're incapable, because you are. You're capable of anything you set your mind to. I never thought I would be where I was at today, but through persistence and never giving up, I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. We love our home, and this is who we are. Sometimes life throws unexpected obstacles in our paths, and we have to work through them. Being raised the way that I was, it makes it a lot easier. Just recently, a rat got into our garage. It decided it was time to make a nest inside of my Mustang. That's just one minor delay in progress. I don't believe a rat is an evil creature or a bad creature. I do believe, however, that they follow God's promise that man will have to work to the sweat of his back. Through time, everything will return back to the earth where it came from, including humans or people, as it describes in Genesis 3:19. For you are dust, and dust you shall return. Although this may be a setback, it is another opportunity to release dopamine as a reward. After we moved out here, our mattress developed a sinkhole we believe was from transportation, and we finally got a new one. Before we carried it off to the dump, Zoey done what she normally can't. There are many types of connectors you can get, but if you get one for automotive, then it should be weather type. These have a heat shrink seal, and I would recommend them for any automotive repairs. I imagine by now you may be thinking, oh, he's a Ford guy. I don't dislike a Chevy though. However, you ask people who invented the Ford, and most will tell you it was Henry Ford. Ask people who invented a Chevrolet, and they will be left stumped. I won't go into too many details about the Chevrolet. However, I will tell you Louis Chevrolet was the inventor of Chevrolet, and his business went south because he believed that he should only sell the best of the best to everyone, and he never wanted an economical version of his vehicle to be out there. General Motors bought his name out as Louis Chevrolet, then went over to Ford and started hyping up the Model A's. So today, the best of Chevrolet is in Ford. Does that make me like Ford better? Not really. I like any American vehicle that has power and has the love for a drive. To me, all of the muscle car eras in the 60s, the 50s, the 70s, in some senses, are the best of the best.
I think it was, what year was it we got you? So it was at least, I can't remember if she was in diapers or not. Was it 2016? Speak, boy. Speak. Come on, speak. Speak. Ha, speak. Hunter, speak. Come on. Ah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see again?
The further they advance, the more electronics go into them. More electronics means more things for pests to chew. Any animal or pest is only looking for safe places to live.
Little baby sleeping. I believe it is brown thrashers.
I use a torch, but you can use a heat gun for any heat shrink connection. A 2-wire pigtail is simple. Just make sure your new wires are going on the same side your old wires are going to. One of the wires they chewed all the way to the plug, but they left the other one there so you can look at the color and see which side is which. Here, only if you couldn't see which wire goes where would you have to test it with a meter. A good crimper always comes in handy. Whatever your choice of heat, be sure not to burn anything you shouldn't. Rodents love anything that's plastic or rubber or anything else that's soft to chew, which leads me to question why anybody would want more of it in their vehicle. These particular crimpers won't allow you to release until it's fully crimped.
Let's see. Oh wow, I'm getting big. That right there, this is is what happens when I have the whole phones and lights.
Alright, man.
Big mosquito.
I'll stick with gas and diesel because out of all the things that could possibly go wrong, generally the electronics is the failing point, whether it be from rodents or other issues. The electronics in a vehicle have to put up with the most rigorous conditions in the world. They have heat, they have rain, they have cold, and any other element that's outdoors that you can think of. If you mix fuel with two elements of the earth, air and fire, you're going places with gas and diesel. Alright, so look right here. It says ignition coal, primary, secondary circuit, which means that's what we just replaced. We rewired it, make sure it was good. So what we're going to do, we're going to clear this code. Let's see. Racing pretty low. Pretty sure, yes. Got the Mustang back!
Yay! I'll have to let Daddy know.
God is good.
What in the world? We're so fucking. Hey, beautiful. Aww. So lovely. Love you.
Now I'm just doing a little finessing, zip tying the new wires to secure them, and cleaning up the engine bay, putting everything back together. I love the lithium power tools. They're awesome, but when the batteries die, you might as well buy brand new tools because the lithium batteries are so high. I don't want a vehicle that would be dependent upon a battery that would make it disposable once the battery is dead in the same way. It was at this moment I knew I put it on backwards. That's better. We live in a world full of God's creatures. Some, to us, just happen to be pests. Whether it's in our garage, our home, or in the woods, it's all a part of God's plan. You can see they chewed this supplemental food source to death. The culprit of this one just happened to be a squirrel I call Gus Gus, because he was extra meaty and he was the one that continued to get inside, just chewing away like there was no tomorrow. I don't know whether he couldn't help himself or he was just that hungry. But once again, plastic, maybe it's just irresistible. We replaced the lower portion with metal to eliminate this from happening again. But that won't stop him with the lid. We love nature. Rodents are just an obstacle that make life aggravatingly fun.